We'll get there. So, our objective for today, I can solve and graph multi-step one-variable equations, but now it's involving absolute values. Read together. 1, 2, 3. I can solve and graph multi-step one-variable equations involving absolute values. Read together. 1, 2, 3.
I can solve and graph multi-step one-variable equations involving absolute values. What is the concept for today, children?
Oh, yes. What is the concept for today? One variable equations. That's why we don't need a fair amount because we already know what it is. Yes? Okay? And today will be the last lesson that we cover in regards to one variable equations. From there, we're moving on to other greater and better things. Yes. Funner. Yes. Funner things. Yeah, it's my word. All right. So, we got it? All right. So, how about now? Okay.
Wait.
Involving absolute values. Okay. So check this out. So we know what one variable equations are. Yes? We said that they are two expressions equal to each other in one variable. We've got examples on examples, some hashtags. Steps that we use are simplify, isolate, plot, and check. Once again, what are they? Simplify, isolate, plot, and check. Now check this out. But today is going to be a special lesson, and it's going to require us to focus more on step one. Look at step one. Step one says each side of the equation start with grouping symbols. So you don't have to copy this, but pay attention. Grouping symbols. Grouping symbols could be parenthesis. That's a grouping symbol. The division sign in a fraction bar is a grouping symbol because it separates the numerator from the denominator. Another grouping symbol that we're going to cover today is the absolute value. So for step one, before we get started with everything else, we're going to spend more time in there, and I'm going to give you 3 extra steps that we need to cover for step one. Copy these steps, please. Step 1, 2, and 3. It says, step 1, isolate the absolute value by using inverse operations. And once again, do we understand what isolate means? Yes, isolate means to leave by itself. That's why I'm pretty sure some of you have read referrals that some of your friends get. Not you guys. Yeah, no, not you guys, but some friends. And in the referrals, it says, action taken by teacher, and one of those things it says isolated student.
No, they never did that.
I'm saying those are part of the some of the options that the teacher can take. What that means is that they isolate the student. Some teachers actually have you stand outside for a little bit. That's isolating the student. Another way of isolating the student, they actually tell you, okay, can you get up and sit over there, and they isolate you so that you can be by yourself. That's what isolation means. So step 1 is to what? Leave the absolute value by itself. That's what it says, isolate the absolute value. I'm sorry? I'll share later. Step 2, write 2 equations without the absolute value symbols. We'll get to that and I'll elaborate more on that. And step 3, solve each equation. And do we know the steps to solve an equation? Yes. Simplify, isolate, plot, and check. So we know all those steps, okay? So, everybody done?
I know.
Oh, you'll see that. Very good question. The question was, how does plotting help us? Well, now that we're done with equations, when we get to inequalities, you're going to see how the plotting is going to help you with the next part.
Oh, okay.
And everything builds up. Kind of like, yes.
Oh, of course.
They never leave you. Yes. Plotting will always be there from this point forward.
As long as we're not checking. Oh, wait. Checking the
Yes, you are. You'll see. All right. Everybody done?
No.
Writing utensils down, please. Look up to the screen.
Got it.
So, absolute value. What is the absolute value? Now, an easy way of explaining this, if I was to say, Monse, can you step outside, please? And I want you to go to the front office, but I want you to count how many steps is it from here to the office, and I want you to go tippy-toe to heel. Does everybody understand what we're talking about? So she goes, she counts, and she's going 1, 2, 3. She gets over to 1,097. Okay, and I say, now count them on your way back. So then she does the same thing on the way back, and she gets here. What is she going to say? 1,097. Okay. Now, would she say negative 1,097? No, because distances are counted as positive steps or positive distances. That's why in the past, who remembers that your teacher told you anytime you do an absolute value, it's always what? Positive. Why? Because absolute value is talking about distances. For the purpose of today's lesson, and what we're going to be talking about absolute value, here goes the definition for absolute value. Absolute value is the distance of a number away from 0. What is it? The distance of a number away from 0. What is it? The distance of a number away from 0. What is it? The distance of a number away from 0. What symbols do we use? Let me show you the symbols. I've seen those before.
Oh, yeah,
Yes, because they tell us that it's the distance from this number to 0. You're like, what? A distance from a number to 0. Right, so what is it? The distance of a number away from 0. So why do we use those two bars? Because it's indicating from here to here. So from number to 0. So what is the absolute value? The distance of a number away from 0. Does everybody understand what absolute value is?
No.
So what is it? The distance of a number away from 0. We got it? Yes?
No.
All right, so with that said, check this out. I did, didn't I? Anyways, here we go. So what if I was to ask, what is the distance of negative 23 from 0? There it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How many steps is it away from 0? 23, Michael Jordan. And how do you do that? It's got animation, and if you're, anyways, we'll talk about that later. So once again, the distance of negative 23 away from 0, we show it here. It's 23 steps. How do we write it? Look up. The distance from 0. What can we use to write the distance from 0? Everyone? The 2 bars, right? And what goes inside? Negative 23. And this is how you can say it. What is the absolute value of negative 23? There it is. And how many steps is it? Man, I'm telling you, I got this, yes? So, once again, does everybody understand the absolute value? A certain number away from 0. So check this out. What if I ask this question? What number is 23 steps away from 0? Check this out. Do we know the number? No. In this case, from the question that they give us, do they give us the number? No. What number means that we don't have it? If we don't know it, what can we label that? X. Therefore, that's where we write absolute value of X. Now check this out. How many steps is it away? 23 steps. Now let me show you from here the process that I just gave you. Writing utensils, pay attention please, because here goes the process. According to the steps that I just gave you, step 1 says what, Suklali? On your paper, what does it say, step 1? Operations. Isolate the absolute value. Let me draw my line down the equal sign. Look at the absolute value. Is there a number multiplying, or is there a number being added or subtracted to the absolute value? No. So step 1 is done. Step 2. Go ahead, Suklali. Okay, write 2 equations. Look what I'm going to do. Look up, please. I'm going to take this number, and I'm going to write negative 23 and positive 23. And what's inside of the absolute value? X. And I'm going to write equal. Once again, X equal. Did I write 2 equations?
Oh, yeah.
Without the absolute values? Yes. You see that I got rid of the bars, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now check this out. Why do we do that? Look up. Let me show you with a number line. Pay attention, please. Here's 0. Don't say it out loud. Think about it. What number is 23 steps away from 0? That is correct, everyone. 23, Michael Jordan. Is that the only number? What's the other number? Negative 23. And that is why we need to write two equations as our solution. Copy that, please. Example Q. 40 seconds. Go. Okay, here it goes. So look up, please. So let's say they gave us this equation. Look up. Absolute value of x equals 23. So we know the process. We first draw our line down the equal sign, and the first step says isolate the absolute value. Is the absolute value by itself? Yes. Step 2 means write two equations without the absolute value. So we write the number 2 times, one negative and one positive, and whatever is inside the absolute value without the symbols. Why do we write one negative, one positive? Because that's the number that's away from 0, those many steps. Everybody understand? All right, let's see if you can do this next one by yourself. Example 1a. Copy this. Example 1a, absolute value of x equals 12. Copy that. You have 30 seconds. Go.
What is that?
All right, check with the neighbor, see what they got. Okay, let's see. Line down the equal sign. Is the absolute value by itself? Yes. So from there we write two equations. One negative 12. The other one is positive 12. What's inside the absolute value? X. X. We plot our solution. 0, 12, and negative 12. Hands, have you got that? Okay, good. We got this, yes? Okay, let's kick it up a notch. No, because you're not supposed to be gambling in class or school. Copy this one, please. Example 1b. Example 1b. Absolute value of x minus 3 equals 23. Okay. Yes. Line down the equal sign. All right, so what was step 1, everyone? Isolate the absolute value. So look at the absolute value. Is the absolute value by itself? No, what's next to it? Minus 3. So what is the inverse? Add 3, add 3. So we're left with absolute value of x equals 26. Am I done? No. Do we know what to do from there? Yes. Two equations. One for negative 26, one for positive 26. And our number line, plot our solutions, 26 and negative 26. How are we doing? Good? Okay, let's do another one. Example 1q. Copy this one. Absolute value of x plus 7 equals 30. Go. $20 seconds. Okay. All right, continue. Let them know what you got, please. Line down the equal sign. Should have done minus 7 minus 7. Absolute value of x equals 23. X equals negative 23. And x equals 23. Do we know how to plot that? Yes, right? Okay. Copy this next one. Example 1 mega q. Here we go. Example 1 mega q. Copy this. 5. I'm sorry. And then open absolute value of x, close the absolute value, equals 7. See if you can do that one by yourself. Don't say it out loud. Let people think. Yes, you can. No, the absolute value is not isolated because we have a 5. What does a 5 do? Multiplying. So what is the inverse? Divide by 5, divide by 5. Absolute value of x equals 1 and 2/5. I'm going to write it as decimal 1.4. And do we know what to do from there? Yes. X equals negative 1.4 and x equals 1.4, and we know how to plot that, yes?
No, this is hard. I got that one.
How are we doing with this? We good? Okay, let's kick it up a notch. Here we go.
That was a notch.
Copy this one, example 1C. Let's see how we do with these. Nice. Example 1C. Let's do this one together because I know this one's it's a little bit challenging, but I just want to make sure that we think it through. Here we go. Line down the equal sign. Is the absolute value by itself? No. Look at it. Is there anything in front of the absolute value? No. How about behind it? No. Therefore, it's already isolated. Yes? Now we write two equations. We're not talking about inside. I'm talking about the absolute value. Is it by itself? Yes. Therefore, I write, focus please. I write the 8. You guys ready? It's your time. You guys are going to be staying after the clock. I'm just letting you know. Here you go. So, before I write that one, let me go to the previous one. After we did this, which one did we write 2 times? The 26, 1 negative and 1 positive, right? Look at the previous one. Which one did we write twice? The 12, 1 negative and 1 positive. Yes, John. Oh, yeah. All right, here we go. So look at this one. Which one am I going to write twice? The 8, 1 negative and 1 positive. What's inside the absolute value? X minus 2.5 equals to negative 8, and x minus 2.5 equals to positive 8. Copy that, please. So let's see. Step 1, isolate the absolute value. Okay, we did. Step 2, write 2 equations. Did we do that? Yes. Step 3, we solve. That's step 3, right? All right, let's solve this one. What do I do here? Add 2.5. Add 2.5.
I was right.
We're left with negative 5.5 equals x. How about this one? Add 2.5. Add 2.5. What do we have? 10.5 equals x. And then let's plot our solution.
I got this right, Mr. Q.
10.5 and negative 5.5. And some of you are saying, Mr. Q, how come we didn't write the same number away from 0? Because look up to the screen. Look inside of the absolute value. Do we have just x now?
No.
No, now we have something happening to the distance from one side and the other side. That's why we get different numbers. One for the positive, one for the negative. It's a little bit different for each one. You understand?
Yeah.
How are we doing? So let's do another one. Example. Why do we need to draw the line? No. That's a good question. Why did I draw the line here? Just in case there was something outside the absolute value, right? Kind of like this one. Yay. Copy that one, please. Example 1D.
Oh, we gotta do this, yeah.
Don't say it out loud, please.
We won't.
Let people think, and I'm going to give you a head start for that one. We have 3 times the absolute value of x plus 7 equals 24. Look at the very first ones that we did and see if you can get that same idea from there. Let me help you out. There you go. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Is the absolute value by itself already? No. What's outside? The 3. Now, the 3 is multiplying, right? But can we distribute it inside? No, because these are not parentheses. Therefore, to get rid of the 3 that's multiplying, what is the inverse? Divide by 3, divide by 3. And if you did that by yourself. Okay, good. We're left with x plus 7 equals to 8. Do we know what to do from there? Yeah, which one do we write twice? The 8. One negative and one positive, and I write x plus 7 equals negative 8. X plus 7 equals 8. And do we know how to solve from there? Yes. Minus 7 minus 7. X equals negative 15. Minus 7 minus 7. X equals 1. Do we know how to plot that? Yes. Show me where the fingers all come to you already so far. 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. I got some 4s, 5s, 3s, 4, 5s, 3s,
Oh, 10.
6s. Okay, 10. All right, thank you. All right. All right. So, for tonight, copy this home plate, please. It's only 8 problems.
Oh, not 10.
Yeah, not 10. Sorry.
Oh, it's fine. Wait, what?
Yes. What? Is there tutoring? Yeah, there is tutoring today. Yeah. So number 1 is absolute value x plus 2 equal to 10. Number 2, absolute value x minus 5 equals 8. Number 3, absolute value y minus 3 equals 5. Number 4, absolute value y plus 2 equals 7. Number 5, 2 times the absolute value x plus 1 equal to 10. Number 6, 3 times the absolute value x minus 2 equals 6. Number 7, absolute value of 2x plus 1 equals 9. And number 8 will be a challenge one, and see how you do with that one. Inside of the absolute value is 3 times 4x plus 1, close parentheses, close absolute value, equal to 23, Michael Jordan. All right, guys, there is tutoring. If I don't see you, have a good one. Enjoy your home play. See you guys tamales. Bye. Look how many minutes on the video. 23, Michael Jordan. I'm going to stop it at 23:23. How about that?